Tim, thanks very much for joining us today as you gear up for what is shaping up to be a very busy year for Metalbank. I'd like to start, if I may, with a recap on your strategically positioned Millennium copper cobalt gold project in Queensland. I understand you were on the ground at the project just prior to Christmas, so are you able to provide us with a high-level rundown on your key impressions from the site trip?
It was going back in time a little bit, to tell you the truth. I spent many years in Mount Isa prior to coming west, and going back to Mount Isa and Cloncurry was really good. The work programs that we've got in place up there are really about what we have been doing to re-energise Millennium. In December 20, we had re-assayed some previous drilling data and re-assayed for graphite, and that was in addition to the copper, cobalt, gold that we knew was there previously. Those results based on graphite were pretty significant. We've got over 2 kilometers of strike, and it's all within the copper, cobalt, gold pit shell. And we had hits something like 56 meters at 18% graphite, 49 meters at nearly 13% graphite from surface, and 20 meters at 14. So with that background, we wanted to go out and test that a little bit more, and we had some funding from the Queensland government to help us do that, and we drilled 4 additional diamond holes just before Christmas to really further test for that graphite.
Thanks, Tim. Now, staying with the Millennium project and the rising copper thematic, are you able to give us an insight into what you think the copper potential of this asset might be? And will this become a strong focus over the coming months?
The copper focus has really started to kick off. If you look at copper prices now, they're in 10-year highs. Cobalt's back over 55,000 US a ton. Gold keeps on going and going. And to add to that, we've got this graphite, which we believe has some potential as an additional revenue stream up at Millennium. So what we are seeing is a good project. It's in a good postcode, close to Ernest Henry and close to Harmony's recently approved EVA project. And then in addition to that, in late 2025, we applied for a lease over ground in that very close vicinity over what we call the gap zone, and that ground had previously been held by Harmony. And assuming we get that lease, and no reason why we shouldn't, it will significantly improve the resource opportunity at Millennium. In the picture that we have there, you'll see that the gap zone, it really does give us continuity over the whole of the mineralization area, and that's an area we couldn't previously access, and now that is going to mean that we have a significantly increased volume of resource we believe we'll be able to get to, and we're looking forward to it. Once we have that application granted, we'll be able to remodel and significantly increase the resource at Millennium. In terms of that opportunity as well, we're going to get the graphite samples back analysed by the end of January, and we think there's some real opportunity there. In addition to that, when I was up there, we see that Millennium is very close to Rocklands Mill that was operated some time ago, and it's also, that process plant has both got a copper and a cobalt circuit. So we've had an early stage chat with Austral, and I reiterated just a chat, nothing more than that, but we're going to continue discussions with Austral Resources about that opportunity as we move Millennium towards a reserve status.
Thanks, Tim. Now, just shifting focus now to your WA gold assets, in particular the Whiteheads and Livingston projects. What are the key areas of focus now as you transition from gold explorer to producer this year?
We're getting more and more excited about this little thing as we go on. I was up there again last week. We just wanted to check out some data and pick up some samples. So we've recently achieved that key milestone of putting out the maiden JORC resource. And just as a reminder of that, 138,000 tonnes at 1.4 grams per tonne, which is 6,300 ounces in resource. We're now moving quickly on that opportunity, especially at Whiteheads. We're finalising the mine plan with some very close contractors we have. And that's important for us to make sure that we end up with a mine plan which is not only diggable, but minimises any waste material that we're going to move around that. And then also with that, we've commenced our own MET testing, and that's why I was up on site last week. Samples back in laboratories in Perth now, and we'll just be going back and rechecking what was some historical data that had previously, and just to make sure that we know exactly what we're going to recover once we put this all through a process plant. Then as we move forward on that, the next stage is, as many people would understand, is going to be finalising that pit design. Where does the waste rock dump go? We've got to do a little bit of sterilisation drilling in and around that, and then we lead into our mining proposal application after we've got that final design. So that's a busy bit of time for us. Additionally, we're also busy up at Livingston. We want to get Livingston going later on in 2026 into early 2027. So we've lodged the mining lease application over the Homestead and Wynyard deposits up there. We've also started our discussions with the native title group, the Nunaroo people in that area. So hopefully having a workshop with them later in Q1. And then we've got more going on down at Whiteheads as well. We've got that upside of the Lady Betty and Lady Geraldine opportunities, which we want to get into drilling in 2026. So we've got a lot going on at the moment and plenty of good news coming out of it.
Thanks, Tim. It sounds like a very exciting time for Meadowbank. To finish, are there any final points you'd like to cover off before we let you go?
Reiterate to the market and everybody who's out there that we're very much on schedule for first gold production from Whiteheads in late Q3, early Q4 this year. And that's going to be a tremendous achievement for us, from a small company startup to getting to be a gold producer in that period of time. Millennium, again, just to talk about that, the more I look at Millennium, I'm also seeing it to be a very, very exciting asset. And we're going to be putting some resources into that project over the coming months to ensure we unlock the full potential of the project as quickly as we possibly can. And I guess 2026 has started at a good pace. So we're going to accelerate that workflow now that everybody's back into work mode after Christmas, and with that very, very clear focus to get Whiteheads into production, get some positive cash flow to fund our ongoing activities, which includes Millennium. And as I say, with today's gold price, it's a good time to be a startup gold miner.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate the update as always, and all the best for what sounds like an exciting year for Meadowbank in 2026. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.